Hey there, folks. If you want to stay ahead of the weather and never miss an important update, be sure to follow Sky Alert USA. Support us by subscribing, liking, and commenting so we can keep bringing you these critical weather updates. Major weather events across USA and Canada. Hello and welcome to Sky Alert USA, your trusted source for critical weather updates across North America. Today is December 16th, 2024, and we're tracking several significant weather systems impacting the United States and Canada, including a dangerous atmospheric river that continues to devastate the Pacific Northwest, lingering winter weather across multiple states, and important forecast changes for the next 3 days. Catastrophic atmospheric river impacts Pacific Northwest. The Pacific Northwest is experiencing one of the most severe and prolonged atmospheric river events in recent history. This weather phenomenon, stretching an incredible 7,000 miles from near the Philippines all the way across the Pacific Ocean, has unleashed catastrophic flooding across Washington State, Oregon, and parts of British Columbia, Canada. As of today, December 16th, the situation remains critical. The atmospheric river has already dumped over 10 inches of rain in some locations across western Washington over the past week, with Seattle-Tacoma International Airport recording a daily rainfall record of 1.6 inches on December 10th. The city of Seattle has received nearly 3 inches of rain since the start of December, while Portland has recorded 2.5 inches, and both cities are expected to receive an additional 2 to 4 inches through Wednesday. The Snoqualmie River reached its highest levels in 10 years, cresting at 17.8 feet, with a flow rate of 45,000 cubic feet per second. Major flooding has inundated residential areas and farmlands near Falls City, Washington, just east of Seattle. The Skagit River and Snohomish River have reached record or near-record flood levels, prompting widespread evacuations. Governor Bob Ferguson declared a state of emergency on December 10th, authorizing the deployment of over 300 Washington National Guard members to assist with flood response. An estimated 100,000 residents in Washington are under evacuation orders due to the catastrophic flooding impacts. In Auburn, Level 3 Go Now evacuation orders were issued over the weekend for residents living between State Route 167 and the Green River after a levee failure was reported. The atmospheric river has been classified as Category 4 to 5 on the Atmospheric River Intensity Scale by forecasters at the Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes, indicating an extreme risk of widespread flooding. The National Weather Service sent multiple Hurricane Hunter flights to collect data from the storm system to improve forecast accuracy. Adding to the emergency, this atmospheric river is returning to the region. After briefly moving back over the Pacific Ocean on Friday and Saturday, meteorologists are warning that a strengthening low-pressure system developing over the Gulf of Alaska will drive the atmospheric river back into the Pacific Northwest by early next week. While rainfall amounts remain uncertain, the biggest concerns are renewed flooding and landslides, as the soil remains completely saturated from previous storms. The impacts extend beyond Washington. In Montana, particularly in the northwestern corner of the state, between December 6th and December 11th, 12 to 13 inches of rain fell at the Bear Mountain site on the Idaho-Montana border. The Fisher and Yark rivers reached flood stages, and Governor Greg Gianforte declared a flooding disaster for Lincoln, Sanders, and Flathead counties. British Columbia has also been severely affected. Environment Canada issued warnings for heavy rainfall across eastern Vancouver Island and coastal areas, with some regions receiving 80 to 110 millimeters of rain. The Fraser Valley, including Abbotsford and Chilliwack, experienced significant flooding. On December 10th, all highways connecting the lower mainland to the interior of the province were closed due to flooding, rockfalls, and avalanche risks. The town of Leavenworth, Washington, was partially flooded and lost power due to flooding on the Wenatchee River. Portland experienced combined sewer overflow downstream of the Ross Island Bridge, with officials urging people to avoid contact with the Willamette River during the overflow and for 48 hours afterward. Travel has become extremely dangerous across the region. The Washington State Department of Transportation reported that crews have worked to reopen more than 50 highways that were closed due to flooding and landslides. However, many mountain passes remain hazardous, with rising snow levels creating unstable conditions and increasing avalanche risk. The Northwest Avalanche Center issued multiple avalanche warnings for the Washington Cascades. Winter weather continues across northern states. While the Pacific Northwest battles flooding, winter weather continues to impact large portions of the northern United States and Canada. Winter storm warnings and advisories have been issued across multiple states throughout December. Recent winter storm activity affected 13 states, including Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, northern Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont. These systems brought a combination of snow, ice, and strong winds, creating hazardous travel conditions across the northern plains, Midwest, and Northeast. The Northeast experienced significant snowfall earlier this month, with some areas receiving up to 16 inches of snow. Winter storm warnings were issued by National Weather Service offices in New York and Vermont, with the highest totals occurring in southeastern St. Lawrence, southern Franklin, western Clinton, Washington, Orleans, eastern Chittenden, eastern Franklin, and Lamoille counties in Vermont. Additional heavy snow affected parts of New York, with meteorologists warning of up to 14 inches near and north of certain routes. Lake effect snow continues to be a concern east of Lakes Erie and Ontario, with accumulations of 3 to 5 inches reported in Lake and northern Cook counties in Illinois. Southern Cook County could receive up to 5 inches, with the heaviest amounts falling overnight. Cold weather advisories have been widespread from the Ohio Valley down to the northern Gulf Coast and southeastern United States. Arctic air masses have pushed temperatures well below normal across much of the eastern United States. Wind chills have dropped below zero in many locations, especially during overnight hours, prompting extreme cold warnings in some areas. Alaska has also experienced significant winter weather, with winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in effect for multiple regions. Southeastern and south-central Alaska, including Fairbanks, have received 6 to 12 inches of snow, with some areas experiencing freezing rain and ice accumulation. The Klondike Highway received 8 to 10 inches of additional snowfall through Friday night, north of milepost 10 toward White Pass, with winds up to 30 miles per hour, creating total storm accumulation of 12 to 14 inches. Across Canada, winter has, firmly established itself, with typical December conditions varying dramatically by region. The northern territories of Nunavut and Yukon are experiencing harsh winter conditions, with temperatures often dropping below minus 20 degrees Celsius. These areas have minimal daylight hours, with the winter solstice approaching, marking the shortest day of the year. In Western Canada, cities like Calgary and Vancouver are seeing, quite contrasting conditions. Calgary is experiencing true winter weather, with temperatures ranging from minus 15 to minus 5 degrees Celsius, and sometimes dipping even lower. Snowfall has been frequent, providing ideal conditions for winter sports. On December 16th, Calgary is forecast to see temperatures around 6 degrees Celsius during the day, dropping to minus 2 degrees Celsius at night. Vancouver and Victoria, over on the west coast, are experiencing relatively mild December weather, with temperatures typically ranging between 0 and 7 degrees Celsius. This region is receiving some of the country's highest precipitation levels during December, primarily as rain, though snowfall is not uncommon in the mountainous areas. The prairie provinces are in full winter mode. Winnipeg and other prairie cities are experiencing temperatures from -15 to -5 degrees Celsius, with frequent snowfall creating excellent conditions for winter activities. Eastern Canada, including Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and Quebec City, is experiencing typical early winter conditions. Toronto is seeing temperatures around 1 degree Celsius during the day on December 16th, with overnight lows around -4 degrees Celsius. Flurries are possible, with cloudy conditions dominating the forecast. Montreal is forecast to have temperatures around -2 degrees Celsius on December 16th, with overnight lows dropping to -8 degrees Celsius. Quebec City is experiencing similar conditions, with temperatures around -7 degrees Celsius. Ottawa is under mostly cloudy skies with flurries possible, with highs around -4 degrees Celsius and overnight lows dropping to -16 degrees Celsius by Tuesday night. Atlantic Canada, including Halifax and St. John's, is experiencing temperatures from -5 to 5 degrees Celsius. Weather patterns remain unpredictable, alternating between snow, rain, and clear skies. The coastal influence leads to occasional foggy conditions and milder temperatures compared to inland regions. 3-day forecast. December 17th through 19th, 2024. Tuesday, December 17th, the Pacific Northwest will see a brief respite from the heaviest rainfall as the atmospheric river temporarily shifts northward. However, significant moisture will remain in the atmosphere, with Seattle expecting highs around 44 degrees Fahrenheit and overnight lows around 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Portland will see similar conditions, with highs near 47 degrees Fahrenheit. Cloudy conditions will persist with scattered showers, and flood warnings will remain in effect as rivers continue running high. Across the northern United States, temperatures will be colder than average. The Plains, Midwest, and Great Lakes regions will experience below normal temperatures, with highs struggling to reach the 20s and 30s Fahrenheit in many locations. Wind chill values will make it feel even colder, particularly during morning and evening hours. The Northeast and Mid-Atlantic will see rain showers dominating urban areas like New York City and Washington, D.C., with snow more probable at higher elevations. New York City is forecast to have highs around 44 degrees Fahrenheit, with mostly cloudy conditions. In Canada, western provinces will continue experiencing winter conditions. Vancouver will see highs around 47 degrees Fahrenheit with rain likely. Calgary will experience temperatures around 32 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies and possible flurries. Eastern Canadian cities like Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa will see temperatures ranging from the mid-20s to upper 30s Fahrenheit, with cloudy conditions and possible flurries. Wednesday, December 18th, marks a potential shift in weather patterns across North America. The atmospheric river is forecast to intensify again and take aim at the Pacific Northwest. Heavy rainfall will resume across western Washington, Oregon, and northwestern California. The previously saturated ground will be at extreme risk for renewed flooding and mudslides. Additional atmospheric river activity could dump another 2 to 4 inches of rain in areas that have already received excessive precipitation. Flood warnings will likely be extended or upgraded, as rivers that had just begun to recede may rise again. Travel will remain extremely hazardous across the region, with continued road closures and dangerous conditions on mountain passes. The northern United States will see continued cold weather, with lake-effect snow persisting east of the Great Lakes. Snowfall accumulations of several additional inches are possible in western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. Arctic air will remain entrenched across much of the eastern half of the country. The southern United States will experience warmer than average conditions, with temperatures from Texas to the East Coast running above normal. This stark temperature contrast between north and south will persist through midweek. Canadian weather on Wednesday will feature continued winter conditions across most of the country. British Columbia's coastal areas will join Washington in dealing with renewed atmospheric river impacts. The Fraser Valley may see additional flooding concerns. Prairie and eastern provinces will maintain typical winter weather with snow and cold temperatures. Thursday, December 19th, brings potential improvement to the Pacific Northwest, though flood impacts will persist even as rainfall begins to diminish. A cold front approaching from the north may bring colder air back into the region, allowing temperatures to drop closer to seasonal averages. This temperature drop, while providing relief from rain, could bring snow to higher elevations. River flooding will remain a significant concern on Thursday despite reduced rainfall. It often takes days for floodwaters to recede, and saturated ground conditions mean any additional precipitation could quickly lead to renewed flooding. Officials warn that disruptions could persist well after conditions improve, as debris clearing and infrastructure repairs may take considerable time. The northern tier of the United States will see a continuation of cold weather, though some moderation is possible by late in the day. Lake effect snow will gradually diminish as wind patterns shift. Travel conditions should improve in areas that have been dealing with heavy snow, though hazardous conditions may persist on secondary roads and in rural areas. The eastern United States will begin to see temperatures moderate slightly, with the intense cold starting to ease. However, below normal temperatures will persist across much of the region. The southern states will maintain their warm, dry pattern. In Canada, Thursday will see generally similar conditions to Wednesday across most of the country. Western provinces dealing with atmospheric river impacts may start to see improvement, while winter weather continues across the prairies and eastern provinces. Some areas may see a brief break in active weather before another system approaches by late Friday or Saturday. Looking beyond the 3-day forecast, meteorologists warn that the Pacific Northwest faces continued risk of flooding and landslides through at least late December. Additional atmospheric rivers are expected to impact the West Coast later this month, and given the significant river flooding already occurring, this represents an ongoing and dangerous situation. The La Nina climate pattern that is developing is expected to maintain a more northerly storm track during the winter months, keeping the northern tier of the United States and Canada wetter than average, while leaving southern regions warmer and drier. This pattern favors continued active weather across the Pacific Northwest, Great Lakes, and northern regions. Safety officials are urging residents in affected areas to remain vigilant and prepared. Those in flood-prone areas should have evacuation plans ready and follow all orders from local authorities immediately. Never attempt to drive through flooded roads, as even shallow water can sweep vehicles away. Just 6 inches of moving water can knock down an adult, and 12 inches can carry away most vehicles. For those in areas experiencing winter weather, travel should be avoided unless absolutely necessary when winter storm warnings are in effect. If you must travel, carry a winter emergency kit in your vehicle, including blankets, food, water, a flashlight, and a first aid kit. Allow extra time for travel and reduce speed on snow-covered or icy roads. Wind chill is a serious concern in areas experiencing extreme cold. Frostbite can occur in minutes when wind chill values drop below zero. Limit time outdoors and wear appropriate layered clothing, including hats, gloves, and face protection. This has been your comprehensive weather update for December 16th, 2024. The situation across North America remains dynamic, with multiple significant weather events unfolding simultaneously.